No new equipment to buy. We took away all their worries so they could go do what they do best.
Michael Thomas has grown successful by giving simple advice.
Well, you have a lot of choices.
Their advice on phone systems?
If it were up to me,
that's simple, too.
I'd call them Pacific Bell. They've been a great deal of help to us.
First of the Oklahoma Land Rush style of starts about ready to get underway, and these are the Odyssey division. Now, Sal, is there an easy way to describe the Odysseys as we go green?
Well, believe it or not, these have become very complex little machines. You know, we have 3 classes running at the start. Wait a minute, let's get through this first jumps here, Bruce.
All right, this is a very smooth section, but as you take a look from the other camera angle, now it starts to get rough. Brutally rough, as you'll start seeing them pop up into the air, and some of them will go up about 18 inches, 24 inches up into the air. In the lead at the moment is Frank Chavez as they get ready to make a hard left-hand turn right here.
Well, some of these dips are so big, you can see they're almost burying these cars.
Well, they're amazing, accelerating little vehicles. The sound is of a 2-stroke engine that you're hearing, and nearly every one of them powered by a 2-stroke, and almost all of them smaller than 500 cc's.
As we were mentioning earlier, there's 3 classes here, suspended up to 360 cc's and unsuspended at the same displacement, and then also the open displacement. And as you mentioned earlier, they run up to about 500 cc's.
Okay, Frank Chavez in front now as they come to a whoop-de-doo section that once again starts making them work quite hard, and they bounce these guys around inside of the roll cages an awful lot. But the roll cages here are built to take a rollover, not just in the chance that it might happen. Ooh, tangle there in the first corner. 51 and 57 involved.
Well, you know, some of these vehicles are up to $15,000 now, and so, as you know, the construction of them is fantastic, so they could take the punishment that they're getting right now.
$15,000, that's a pretty expensive sounding racing piece as the right front wheel goes away on one. There's our early leader, number 55, that is Chavez. Frank Chavez out of Lakeside, California. Is this kind of a regional type of a class, or are they all over the United States now?
It's very popular right now all over the United States.
One of them upside down right there is number 70, Juan Lencioni, Sal.
Well, Juan is from Ensenada, Baja California.
We've had a change in the lead, too, it looks like. As we look up the course, it's now Don Archibald out in front, and Lencioni again with some problems. It's Archibald as he comes by this location here, and Archibald, that vehicle is covering ground in a hurry.
That's a Pro ATV model, a real hot running car, and a super chassis on that one.
And we're coming up onto the portion of the racetrack now, well, in a moment, called Thompson's Ridge. Now the leaders are in a section that is one of the roughest parts of the whole racetrack.
You know, you got to remember, these vehicles are going in exactly the same course that all the bigger vehicles are going on. So it's tough. It's really tough out there.
And it'd be a different perspective when your legs are only just a few inches off of the racetrack and all that engine sitting right behind your earlobes, too.
What kind of speed do you think they're reaching here at the Ridge?
I'm guessing that it's up in the neighborhood of 55, 60 miles an hour for these small vehicles, and this is the fastest portion of the course right here as they get ready to go back into a rough section, once again, kind of out of our sight line, but we'll all be able to see it at home. That's still Archibald out in front. Now Frank Chavez is in the second place spot.
Now Chavez is running in the same class. As we mentioned, there are 3 classes here, but Chavez and Archibald are in the same class.
And they're beginning to lap traffic. That's Chavez pulling off, apparently with a mechanical problem. Here's another one that is upside down and trying to right himself. Number 87 on the vehicle, that belongs to John Stegman out of Quartz Hill, California. Stegman apparently okay. Another good shot right here at our leader, Archibald, and that part of the racetrack is hard on him.
Well, that looks like some giant moguls, doesn't it?
The last lap flag waving to him, and if you were running around in an Odyssey, you'd probably be happy to see that last lap flag. A little bit of the asphalt in use on the racetrack here. As we've pointed out, Riverside Raceway may be here yet for another year, but a lot of people think this might be our last year at the facility, and Archibald wants to win the Odyssey division.
You know, this is a little longer course than we normally have. We're just over 1.5 miles, and that's longer than we normally run. So these guys are going through some unbelievable punishment.
And 1.5 mile long lap would seem like a long way in a vehicle that's probably only about 1/4 the size of a normal racing vehicle. Don Archibald, the leader, coming through the switchback section. He's on his last lap around right now, and typical, proverbial, you always hear things starting to go away, an engine getting ready to let go or whatever.
Well, it looks pretty clean, though. I think he's got a good run for that finish.
Down to the far end of the racetrack, away from here as the high camera looks down on Archibald now with about 3.5 or 4 seconds of a lead over the rest of the field. And another one with some problems. The whole wheel has come off of that, and our hard-working infield guys are clearing him off of the racing line itself, unceremoniously taking off the spare parts.
I don't think he's going to get that fixed in time to get back in.
Don Archibald now, and the hard left-hander at the far end of the racetrack as they still clear the track here.
That wheel's giving him some trouble, isn't it?
Back up onto the Thompson's Ridge. Now there's a side angle to this that adds a degree of difficulty, doesn't it?
Well, it's about a 35-degree angle there off camber, so it's tough. What's happening here? Oh, that's our wheel guy.
Yeah, he's apparently out of it, and again, physically okay, although the vehicle is not. The closing stages of the Odyssey race, and a good shot of the leader coming through that very rough portion, and again crossing over the asphalt part of the S's here at Riverside Raceway. And Archibald, once again at speed. In the smaller motor class, Steve Greer out of California leads it. And then in the unlimited class, Darren Matwichuk is the leader there.
Well, Darren came all the way from Canada to compete in this event.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a long drive.
Yeah, we've got him from all the way down south all the way up north.
Another good look at Archibald as he goes by one of the unsuspended Odysseys. And if you can follow that one for a while, you'd find out that's a very hard ride.
Hey, the suspension on this vehicle is terrific. He's doing a beautiful job of handling it.
The Pro ATV of Don Archibald should be coming around for the checkered flag right about now, and that'll make him a happy individual.
Well, I wonder if we do have another Riverside, if we'll see Don in a larger class.
Well, he's a competent enough driver that he could probably take a shot in just about any one of the four-wheel classes. Here's the checkered flag for him as he beats 42 other entries to the win. And we're going to take him over to Victory Circle in just a little while. We'll also be updating you on all the different classes. But let's point out right now, this is a very warm day here in Riverside, California. The thermometer right now in the 105-degree range. They say it's dry heat, though, and it doesn't matter a lot, right? When it's 105, you know it for sure. The winners, Don Archibald in the main class. Don Matwichuk wins it in the 500cc class. And Steve Greer wins the smaller motors. Let's go now to Steve Grab.
Don Archibald, congratulations on winning the Odyssey. You took the lead midway through and held on to it. What was your strategy?
Just get out and go. Everybody here is real fast cars. You just got to get out ahead and just pray that you make it. I don't know. Just got out there. I don't know. I got lucky.
Well, what's the secret of staying in one piece, keeping your body from decomposing while you're bouncing around this track in one of these small Odyssey cars?
Well, I got an excellent chassis. It's one of the best riding chassis on the market. I got a real fast motor, and Pro HV chassis, Leggage motors, man, they ran real good, and I don't know, this runs good.
Sure, your performance tires perform in perfect weather, but it's not a perfect world, is it? Introducing the Goodyear Eagle GT Plus 4, a dramatic advance in tire design that gives you great street performance in all kinds of weather, so you can take those turns, hit those brakes, and